Well, hello. I'm excited to have you back at Oracles and Enchantments. I'm your delighted hostess, Guinevere. If you're new to my channel, I want you to savor and enjoy the ride. Welcome to the wonderful journey of the interdimensional oracle cats that have stalked into your awareness today. Yes, we have another one here to remind you that all is not what it seems, and that there is another version of yourself, not so far away on another version of Earth, and they are a cat. So let's learn what yours came to share with you today. Known as Agatha, the Cauldron Kitty. Oh, bless the stars and stir the cauldron. Agatha has arrived. She is never late. Can you hear her sing-song yowling from the alley of dimensions? Her tail is twitching with impish purpose, and perhaps a little bit of sparks are flying from its tip, if you look carefully. Her eyes glow and catch the light like mismatched moons. Agatha, the Cauldron Kitty, isn't just walking into our sacred circle. She's zoomy leaping in, knocking over everything she knows we'll thank her for later. She is, quite truly, the matron saint of, I'm not crazy, I'm magical, though you have to be somewhat crazy for magic to have that special twist like mist, coming from the cracks of a mortared house that was once thought impenetrable. Huh. She's Kiss and Hiss, a benevolent menace with mystical paws and a sixth sense for the sacred within what would be assumed as nonsense. She reads horoscopes and spilled tea. Don't mind her that you were just drinking said tea. She needed to see what was in store and make sure all was well for the day. She is crazy in a benevolent way. She's a blessing giver. She's the cat that gets the zoomies and always finds the magical person she's supposed to walk into the life of. She was a wildcat in the streets, admiring the weird ways of humans. But she was looking for a real witch, not just a girl or a boy that collects crystals that gather dust on a forgotten windowsill, but an herbalist, a co-conspirator, a whisperer of the trees. Agatha seeks the untamable person, the one that runs barefoot and knows everyone's horoscopes better than she or he knows their names. Agatha brings magic, and where she sits, the gates are always open. It is sometimes whispered and inferred that her entire lineage came from our previous temple cats. But her and her kin run the streets until they see gods and goddesses yet to remember who they are in human form, and then they pounce. They are the truly wild and wise street cats, constantly observing our world at a safe distance, that they will suddenly, inexplicably, close when least expected, which is why they seem so crazy. But really, just like them, it's the minute you leave conventional ways that crazy becomes sanity and rewrites the wrongs. This alternate you, cat self, that has arisen in our present oracle is long-haired, midnight-furred, and mixed with whoever was her most recent feral parents this lifetime. Typically, things that are part of her sacred methods are as follows. She knocks over whatever you need to work with next. You need sage? She knocks it off the counter into your bathtub while you're bathing. You need oracle advice? She drags your velvet pouch that has your tarot in them around the house, yowling loudly. You ignore Agatha? No, you don't. She doesn't have an off button and will harass and meow until you take note. The second you sit to read the cards or cast the spell, she curls up all contentment and purrs loudly in your lap in approval. She is a wild card indeed. Agatha is the threshold guardian, the spirit stirrer, the unruly oracle. And while people whisper that her lineage traces back to the temple cats of Bastet, Agatha rolls her eyes at that. I'm not royalty, she says. I am the wild magic at its most unfiltered, and I am owned by no one. I choose a magical partner and bring the wild back into their lives so that forgotten magic can be born in new ways. Royals, the song by Lorde, is quite literally her theme song. We'll never be royals. It don't run in our blood. That kind of luck's just ain't for us. We crave a different kind of buzz. Let me be your ruler. You can call me Queen Bee, and baby, I'll rule. Let me live that fantasy. Oh yes, that is her song. But I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? I haven't yet told you of your alternate dimension story and the mythos she created looking for a co-creator of street magic. Let's get into the details now. The wild, blessed feral who found her witch is what the legend is called. Once, under a waxing moon in a city where pigeons outnumber dreams, a long-haired blur of fur named Agatha was born behind an old neighborhood spice shop. Her mother was never tamed, and legend says she was made of mainly moonlight and rebellion. The odd moments she was glimpsed by the rare human eye, her long silver-gray fur would tempt them to chase her before she vanished somewhere inconvenient, like a neighbor's rosebush, and the pursuer would rather get a face full of thorns than this clever mama. Her father was an affectionate poet disguised as a tomcat. He would hang out on people's porches, give them some rough love, and run off before capture. It is said that his favorite activity was to nap in candy bowls during Halloween season. The result of these street cats was Agatha. Chaos incarnate, wrapped in her father's black cat mystique of candy bowl lounging and her mother's long-haired glamour, a known witch's or fairy's trick. And there she was, born destined to deliver blessings disguised as complete disorder, at least to the uninitiated and the weak of heart. Agatha knew she was questing for a co-conspirator, so for a while she roamed the streets like smoke, chasing neon bugs, licking drops from potion bottles tossed in dumpsters, and spying through apartment windows, unimpressed by the half-hearted, self-proclaimed witches scrolling social media behind their dusty, neglected citrine at home. Nope, not magical enough, she'd mutter, knocking over a broom, annoyed that someone had tried to use as decoration, clattering on the ground, her tail twitching, frustrated, until one day she felt it. A pulse, a wave, a heartbeat in harmony with the wild. A barefoot woman, arms full of street-forged dandelions, with stardust under her nails and lips that whispered to plants like they were old lovers. This witch didn't pretend. She didn't dabble. She dove. Agatha jumped straight through her open kitchen window with obvious chaos ensuing, as she immediately overturned an entire shelf of labeled jars. The woman, shocked and startled by the clamor and crash, turned around from the oak bark she was simmering on the stove to see a strange cat running across her countertop. "You're gonna need cloves," she purred, while being shooed away with a wooden spoon. The woman raised an eyebrow. Did she imagine that this random stray had just talked to her? Agatha meowed, deadpan. "You're creating an herbal cure for gums, right?" Again, the woman stood there with wooden spoon in hand and strange standoff with a meowling, purring cat, before Agatha pawed cloves so violently from the countertop that they scattered half on the floor and the other half directly into the boiling pot. "My goodness," she exclaimed. "Confirmation? This can't be coincidence, right? Right? Had a magic cat just boldly familiarized herself from the magical plane to the practical plane in a split second? Understandably, this woman rubbed her eyes to make sure she wasn't hallucinating this event, and Agatha popped from the counter and disappeared in another room as if this was her house and the woman was merely visiting. The cat distribution system was off the charts today, and thus their co-conspiracy began. "Welp, I have a cat now," this woman had to admit. From that day forward, Agatha, the Cauldron kitty, made herself violently indispensable. Need to do shadow work? She sits directly on your journal. Ignoring your ancestral altar? She climbs into it and yowls until you make offerings. Need to break a curse? She coughs up a hairball that just so happens to contain a symbolic bone fragment. Don't ask how. What sort of blessings did your cat self share with that new friend and companion? Well, I don't mind detailing them here. They were wild, precise, and delivered with flair. Our sweet witch, we'll call her Samantha, met a man that could respect Agatha, but shortly after an exciting engagement, lost her engagement ring. That is until Agatha inspired a spring cleaning frenzy by blowing out all of her long hair, it seems overnight, drifting through the house in fluffy cotton candy clumps. Ring found. Samantha needed to fly for her honeymoon and for the life of her couldn't find her passport until Agatha had midnight zoomies and nudged, well, violently knocked over a stack of boxes, and the passport fell out of the box neatly and perfectly into one of her shoes she was going to wear that next day. Don't mind the huge mess, but the passport was placed in that shoe as if by divine order. I can go on and might need to round back to the unexpected kittens that came later, for one of them is in a future oracle. But for now, I think you have the point. Here is a blessing from Agatha, but she wanted you to receive it today. She yelled it at 3 a.m., waking me from deep sleep, so I felt obliged to pass it on to you. This was her message. Hey! Yeah, you. Stop pretending you're not magic. The tea is steeping, the portal is open, and your familiar just knocked over the herbs you needed. Get to work. You're late for your own spell. Agatha's cauldron spell that she wanted me to offer up to you today is a special recipe for you to enjoy. This is a kitchen ritual to invite your own wild blessing cat and awaken the witch within yourself. Step 1. The interruption. When you find your keys suspiciously missing when you thought you were headed out to a movie, Agatha's spirit has them pinned beneath 12 pounds of indignant fur. Do not argue. Do not attempt escape. Understand Agatha has chosen you. Stay home, she purrs to your psyche with purpose. There is magic in your cupboard and sacred stirrings to do. Step 2. The brew, Agatha's golden milk. This warm, golden sweet brew opens the gateway to chaos-blessed clarity. Drink it slowly, sip it as you stir your soul and the cup. Your ingredients: 2 cups milk, plant-based if you like. She recommends almond because almonds connect to love magic, or coconut because it helps the body absorb the healing effects of the turmeric. 1 teaspoon of turmeric for light and truth. 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon to awaken pleasure and presence. A pinch of black pepper to activate the alchemy. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract to sweeten the shadows. 1 tablespoon, I personally use 3, of honey or maple syrup to remember the sweetness of staying. You can use to taste, but Agatha and we prefer sweetness. A dash of rose petals or cardamom for the bold-hearted and romantically inspired, and let me tell you, get your rose petals from an herbalist, not from the store. They're sprayed with chemicals. Optional. Blow 3 breaths from your diaphragm for deep anchoring in yourself directly into the pot that you've put all the ingredients into. And then, after blowing those beautiful breaths with all of your passion, sing a favorite song into the brew as it deepens the alchemy. You can also add a flick of nutmeg to call in feline familiars and midnight wisdom if you so desire. Here are the directions. Warm the milk gently on the stove. No microwaves here, darling. You're not summoning a hot pocket. You want to simmer all the ingredients for 10 minutes in a pot. No need to rush. The simmering and stirring is all part of infusing it with magic. 2. As the milk warms, whisper, I stir to remember, I sweeten to see, my sacred life is calling to me. 3. Add each ingredient with a blessing. Turmeric for light, illuminate me. Cinnamon for sensuality, let joy rise like fire. Pepper for clarity and protection from interfering spirits, pierce through my distractions. Vanilla, let softness be my spell. Honey, I call the sacred sisterhood to gather. Or maple, I call the rooted strength of the tree's wisdom. You can do both, but if you decide to do both, use more maple than honey. Rose, or cardamom, or both, to open the door to the unexpected. Once it's warmed and fragrant, pour into your favorite mug, the one with a chip that you keep anyway because of the good memories it holds. 5. Sit, sip, let the purring of well-loved magic begin. Step 3. The summoning. As you drink, know that Agatha was incanting this while she leaned over your kitchen countertop and watched you sing your favorite song. While you were doing that, she was doing this. Singing over your shoulder, I honor the pause that pause my rush. I thank the cat that tells demons to hush. I caress the tail that leads me to the earth, that fills me with magic that comes from the heart. May the sacred cats of chaos and kindness erase the parts of me that were forced into blindness. By a world that programmed me with terrible news, let Agatha's love keep me worthy of magical muse. We seal this spell with the sense of her whiskers, where cauldron fires fill the night with their flickers. As we speak it, so it is done. The familiar and I are always as one. This was Agatha's story, but what does it mean to you? What is your oracle bound to? What's your message? Well, if it wasn't obvious, one of your present cats in your home wants you to stop dabbling and get your magic on point. Your kitty is aching for you to establish the wild back into your process. How long since you picked up that herbal book you bought on a whim? Are your crystals gathering dust? Are you so caught up in the taming process of news cycles that are programming you that you forgot to intend your own life? Go feral. Find your way. No present cat to work magic with? Uh-oh. Then you might find yourself actively stalked by the cat distribution system. Agatha's kin are always prowling the streets and alleyways to find their practical magic kitchen herbalists or cauldron witches. They come to elevate and reinvent the game. They are always just a little bit dangerous and wild, so if you bring someone over they don't approve of, the chances of the stranger getting clawed are not slight. And we don't even want to talk about the pure demon magic of this cat, this sweet, snuggly, all-day sweetheart cat, will show your vet. Vets whisper in hushed rooms about these sorts of cats. Tame to you, feral to the world. Trust this cat, because if they disapprove of a new person in the house, their instincts are reliable. Think that they are actually talking to you? Barking at the dog. Caught them saying a word. Yes, they are legendary for this. I once met one of these cauldron kitties when I walked into a magic shop. You know the sort. Herbs, candles, tarot decks, and maybe even a monthly full moon gathering. They had a stray that was similar to our Agatha, long black fur, and had literally wandered off the streets and never left, sitting and sunning herself in the windows. She was known to distribute needed magic to those entering the establishment by following the person around, and the moment you neared what you needed, she would hop up and knock said object to your feet. I was astonished when I came in, and she followed me into the room of candles, promptly knocking 2 pink and purple beeswax candles bound together, lightly sprinkled with glitter, directly on top of my feet. I picked up the ribbon-bound candles, and the label said, "To connect with the matron goddess Aphrodite." I had to snatch my eyebrows from my hairline because I had just decided that morning that I wanted to become more familiar with that specific goddess. I told the owner, and she said very matter-of-factly, "Oh yes, she does that. Are you getting the candles?" I nodded, and the woman said, "Good, because she's never wrong." So enjoy the magic that will come to visit you now. Even if it seems chaotic, it is never wrong. And now a little bonus. This is one of Agatha's quotes. "The moment you return to what you are instead of what you should be, we arrive. We, the cats of memory, of myth, of alleyway anointings, we leap through portals opened by spoons. We knock over what no longer serves. We curl upon your chest, purring truths back into your heart. And we always, always arrive when the brew is sweet and the soul is ready to play again. Let my love create a magnet of love all around you. Let my father's candy bowl dreams sweeten every moment, and let my mother's rosebush thorns keep all interference at bay so you can create your best magic for yourself and the world." And so, that is Agatha's magic. Until next time, I do promise I will tell you of Agatha's lineage of kittens. I added a special teaser in this episode to share the bigger magic of what Agatha and her kin are capable of. I hope your day, week, and month inspire you. Please help me grow my channel by subscribing if you don't want to miss out on future oracles and the expansion of the Kittyverse. Hit the bell icon, and YouTube will keep you up to date for our next magical adventure. Until then, be well.